We got Chicago Bulls news. That's something we haven't said in a while. We got the schedule update happening today, finding out the full schedule for the Chicago Bulls, but we also know who they start the season against and who their first home opener is against. We also got a little bit of Justin Lewis news. It's unfortunate. And the Bulls have signed Carlik Jones to a camp deal. We'll talk about all that and more in today's episode of The Breeze, and it starts right now. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago Bulls. I want to say normally we talk Bulls daily on this channel, right? But like it hasn't been a lot of Bulls talk to talk about. So yeah, don't worry about it. We do talk Chicago Bulls a lot on this channel. I'll drop that for the video today till we get back to daily. It's the only channel talking Bulls, how Bulls talk. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. Like I said, we do got some updates on the Chicago Bulls here. Bulls, we find out their first home opener and who they're playing starting the season against. They're going to start the season up against Miami. And I like this, right? First game against Miami. I think 3 days later, first game at home against Cleveland. Now, hopefully, right, the flight path and all that with the NBA scheduling is a little bit better this year because they had the Bulls flying all over the world last season. And it just didn't make sense, right? I think we were in Cali, Texas, Milwaukee, Miami, back to Cali. Like it was a weird schedule last year. But here's one thing I will say. I really like the start to this season going up against tougher teams, right? Because I feel like there's an opportunity there for you to set the tone of the narratives that were there last season, right? The Bulls struggled against those better teams at the end of the year. I mean, we talk about like, we felt good about beating the Clippers when Paul George had just got back. That's how bad we were struggling against those better teams at the end of the year. And the Bulls heard that. And so I think that that's something where you want to come out and you want to set this tone early. I think especially with Zach LaVine getting his new deal, he's going to want to come out and set the tone early. Me and Hayes talked about it over on Locked On Bulls. Excuse me, kind of who we thought was going to be the high score in that game. Going up against Miami, I definitely feel like it's going to be Zach LaVine because he's going to be wanting to prove a point. He's going to be wanting to prove that he's worth that $215 million and that he's going to show out for Chicago. I like starting the season off against Miami, right? Good defensive matchup and some guys that can score. So you'll be able to kind of see how your offensive scheme is going to work, how you're able to play down low. And I think that's the part that really intrigues me about that next game in Cleveland as well, right? Were the improvements that we made going to put us in the right direction? Now, I don't expect the Bulls to just come out on fire like they did last season, right? What'd we go? We were like 20-4 or something like that. I don't know if I expect that to start the season, but the one thing that I'm looking at when I'm looking at this Bulls team is, okay, the improvements that we made this offseason and the work that we've put in this offseason, how is that going to come together? How is adding Andre Drummond into this mix going to help us down low? Is a healthy Patrick Williams enough for you down low to help Vooch with the rebounding load? Oh, by the way, is Marko Simonovic going to be able to be an addition to this big man group this season? These are all questions that I'm really looking at, and I'm saying, okay, I feel good about where this Bulls team is going if these things kind of play out early on versus some tough teams. I mean, listen, right? Like when you're talking about teams like Miami and stuff like that, you know that they're kind of starting the season off coasting. And even DeMar DeRozan said this last season, right? He said in the second half of the season, that's where teams get serious. That's where teams get real, because that's where, you know, your playoff teams are trying to make that final push. They're trying to get themselves ready. Like it's not a game anymore after the All-Star break. And so I think that's kind of where the Bulls got caught up, and they just weren't prepared for that last season. And they had too many injuries to be even close to being prepared for that last season. So now coming into this season, right, I think there's an opportunity to get some of these big teams early, build your confidence up, go after them. And I like that you've got a couple of tough matchups here early on, not just right. Like I think we started the season against Detroit twice. I know we had Philly in there, but I think we definitely dropped both of those. But, you know, it's going to be exciting to see what this schedule is, but hopefully it's a much more balanced schedule than seasons previous. Let me know how you guys feel about this schedule in the comments below, man. How you feel about starting the season off against some tougher teams. Do you like the competition, or would you like the Bulls to ease into it kind of like they did last season? Let me know in the comments below. Also got an update on Justin Lewis. Unfortunately, we have confirmed that he did tear his ACL. He's going to have surgery. That's probably going to be season-ending surgery, more than likely. I mean, and the question that is being asked around Justin Lewis, right, is should he be able to keep the two-way deal? It's tough, right? It's a tough question to ask because, of course, he's hurt. You want the brother to recover quickly. But also, right, you have to think about the Bulls in general and how this team is going to be able to play. And if these injuries do come up again, right, do you want somebody that's going to be on that two-way deal? But Justin Lewis is one of the more coveted guys coming out of college. I think he was the second most coveted player coming out of college. A lot of teams wanted to get him into their organization. It sucks that he's going to miss this first year in the league, but he probably wasn't going to play a lot with the team anyway in this first year. I think he's more of a future move, kind of like how Marco worked his way into the rotation, didn't play last year. Now this year, he's going to play a little bit more. But I mean, listen, I think that Justin Lewis has all the intangibles of a guy that you want. He kind of reminds me, as I've watched his game a little bit more, doesn't he remind you a little bit of like a Josh Smith kind of game right down in Atlanta? I thought that was a good comp for him. So I'm really excited to see what he can add to this team, especially coming off of the bench. Hopefully a little bit better defender than Josh Smith. But I thought Josh Smith was a pretty good comp for him. But when I'm looking at this, right, like, it's a tough loss, and it's a tough question to have right now on should you remove the two-way deal. But you also have to think about how are you going to structure this team if you start to have some COVID things pop up, if you start to have some injuries pile up and you need to bring these guys up and down and he's on that two-way deal. But also there's the question, who's on that Windy City Bulls team that's really worth bringing up and down? You weigh it out. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I think at first I was quick to say you've got to remove it from him and just try and re-sign him to a Windy City Bulls deal. But in that situation, right, somebody else can come in and sign Justin Lewis. I would rather have Justin Lewis in the organization. For that reason, I would hold him on the current deal that he's on. I wouldn't try to move off of that. And I think that's because I think that Justin Lewis, at a minimum, is going to be a really good role player for the Chicago Bulls, and hopefully he lives up to those Josh Smith hype that I've now placed upon him. The other thing, news-wise, that popped up yesterday, Bulls signed Carlik Jones to a camp deal. Probably expect him to get converted into a Windy City Bulls deal. Carlik Jones was a guy that was balling during Summer League. Check out some of his Summer League highlights if you didn't. He definitely earned the deal. He was somebody that was kind of irritating me, but like for a good reason, right? I know that's weird to say, but like I wanted to see like Dalen Terry and Marco play and get shots and stuff like that. And Carlik Jones just kept taking shots, but he was knocking them down. So I was like, I want to see the dudes we drafted taking shots, right? Like I wanted to see Justin Lewis taking shots. I want the names we heard coming into this, right? But Carlik Jones made a name for himself, put himself in a good position, got himself on a camp deal. He'll probably end up being converted to a Windy City Bulls deal. Possibly could be a guy that gets converted to a two-way deal. Remember, Malcolm Hill still has not signed his two-way deal. Probably waiting to hear back from other teams on if he's going to make an NBA roster or not. But he still is yet to sign his two-way deal. So it's going to be interesting to see if Carlik Jones maybe is able to get on that two-way deal. But like I said, in Summer League, he was balling. He definitely earned himself. He played very well in Summer League, and so he earned himself a spot at a minimum on the Windy City Bulls. Very undersized guy though, right? I believe he's 6'1". I think he's 200, maybe 205. I don't remember exact weight, but a slighter frame guy, but a guy that, hey, listen, when he was pulling up dead in your face. He was looking you in the eye. He was attacking. He was going at guys. And I think that's what you want in a camp deal, right? You want guys that are going to be competitive, guys that are going to have talent, guys that are going to get out there and get your team out running, going up against the guys that are actually going to be on the roster. So I like the signing of Carlik Jones to a camp deal. I think that's going to be really big for the Bulls, getting themselves prepared for the season. And that's the Bulls news for today, man. Let me know which story stood out to you guys the most. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and rocking with us, man. I can't wait to get back into basketball season and get the live calling these games with y'all. I miss live calling these games with y'all. So we're going to be, I mean, there's going to be a lot of change to the live call this season. We're preparing so many different things, and so we're really excited for what's coming this season. And listen, we can't wait to get to work and see you guys in the live chat again. As always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again to continue watching our Chicago Bulls content. Click the links on the screen or check the links in the description below. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.